Hi, I'm Luke. This is my story. My story starts in the 8th grade when I was going to take the entrance exam to St. Xavier High School, and all the other guys in my class were pretty much going to LaSalle High School. I always knew growing up that I wanted to go to St. X because my dad and all of my uncles went there, so it was something that I wanted to do. And when the other kids that were going to LaSalle found out that I was going to St. X, they started calling me names to my face saying, "You think you're too rich for us, you think you're too smart for us." Then they completely just stopped talking to me. And I started to see myself as a failure. So my parents always told me that if I worked my hardest and I was giving my best effort, that they didn't care what my grades were. But I was looking upon my family doing well and I didn't feel like I was fitting in. I decided that it really wasn't worth it anymore, and I really didn't have the desire to live anymore. I brought my parents into another room at my aunt and uncle's house, and I said, "I can't tell you right now," but my mom, she asked what was wrong, and I said, "I'm scaring myself because I don't want to live anymore." She immediately asked if I had a plan. I didn't have a plan because I was done with the emotional pain, and I didn't want to have to feel any physical pain. I was then brought to the school psychologist the next day. I had to be pulled out of class, and once again then I felt like I was being an outcast in class and that I didn't fit in even more. After that first session, I convinced her and my parents that I was going to be okay. I started training with the cross-country team, and I immediately started gaining friends, and it really started to bring my spirits up because I really felt like I was able to gain friends and meet people who liked me for who I was. I'm not this weird kid that I felt like I was in 8th grade, that I was completely different, that nobody could accept me. So I pretty much went through freshman year pretty easily. Every once in a while I would feel that depression coming on again, but it wasn't something as bad as my suicidal thoughts. Then everything seemed to kind of pile on, so if I didn't do great in another class on a quiz or homework, that really drug me down again. To myself I would say, well, I'm really just not good at school, I can't believe this, I'm really not fitting in with anybody, why am I here? And that really started to bring those questions of why am I here, and I didn't feel like life was really worth living anymore. In about a 2-week period, my depression started getting really bad, and I really started to think of how I wanted to leave this world, and I started making this plan. So I started to think of days that it could happen, and I chose a day that both my parents and my older sister were going to go coach my little brother's soccer practice. So when I got home from school, nobody was going to be home. I know I wanted to get rid of the emotional pain without much physical pain, but I realized that some of that physical pain could have been there. I did things like look up on the internet anatomy some, and realized that if I put the shotgun in my mouth, it would blow my brainstem away and it would be real quick, and that I wouldn't be able to feel anything. My uncle had given me this shotgun for a birthday present because he was a hunter and he wanted me to hunt with him. But my dad did all the right things in locking it up, putting the keys in a different place and putting the shells in a different place. But because this is the means I chose, I was able to seek them out. So that night I came home from school and cleaned up my room really well. And everybody was gone, so I got the shotgun out of my dad's closet. I decided to bring it in the backyard because I was having thoughts of, well, if my parents are already going to have all this pain, I don't want to have to ruin their house as well. I was back there with the shotgun in my mouth and the finger on the trigger. At that point, I was able to start slowing down in my thoughts. During my depression, I felt completely trapped in my own mind and wasn't able to reach out to anybody and wasn't able to process my thoughts as well as I wanted to. So I dropped the gun there in the backyard and I went inside and called my dad's cell phone. And when he answered, I said, "Dad, how close are you guys to being home because I'm scaring myself?" Immediately after my mom heard this from my dad, she called me on her cell phone. And as soon as I picked up, I said, "Mom, there's a shotgun in the backyard. That's how much I'm scaring myself." My mom gave a scream right then. That was a scream of a mother losing a child. And it was something that I realized how much pain I was giving her, but how much pain I was able to release by telling her how severe I was feeling right then. As my mom talked to me to comfort me, my dad used his cell phone to call the police so that they could get there faster than my parents could. My parents got home, and I was taken by ambulance to Children's Hospital. On my way to the hospital, though, there was a point when I was in the back of the ambulance and the EMT had to call ahead to the ER. And when she did, she said that I have a 15-year-old boy here who almost shot himself. And it really hit me hard because I didn't feel like she was talking about me. I finally was able to see that this was something that was kind of beyond my control. Through some spiritual retreats I went to, I realized that it was God who finally was able to get through to me. God was really the one who allowed me to slow down, and at that point, he was finally able to break through to me and make me realize what things I had in my life that I should appreciate, and that this was just a trivial thing that I could go through. I think it's awesome to be alive, to experience the things that I'm able to now. It's something that I'm finally able to connect with people that I didn't feel like I was being able to connect with earlier. There's a reason God kept me on this earth.